but
I think he's been on TV for some things, but
yeah,
I didn't recognize. Yeah,
it has a really nice message. In some, the message is that you kind of make your own family, which I've always thought to be true.
Yeah,
like you pick your friends and the people that you want to be surrounded by, and that's your family.
Yeah, that's how you get out of the people you're stuck with.
Yeah, the ones you're born into.
Right.
Exactly. So I thought that was a nice message.
Mm-hmm.
But I also saw on a plane Captain Marvel. Did we ever talk about that, or did I?
I don't know if we ever talked about it, but I've seen that
ago.
one.
Yeah. Which I thought was okay. It was so-so.
What didn't you like about it?
Well, I didn't know anything about it. So it's still puzzling to me that it's called Captain Marvel. That just seems like a ploy for marketing. But I guess I think shape-shifting is kind of a cheap device.
Then you're probably going to hate like the next several years of Marvel movies, because that's what they're moving into, is that whole, I think they're called Skrulls. Yeah, the storyline of them is what they're moving into.
All right. It just seems too...
I think it's called Secret Invasion. I'm probably wrong. I'm not... I like what the guys on the James Bonding podcast say, which is that they're lovers, not experts. And that's me with just about anything.
Okay.
Except for some bands. But yeah, there's I believe it's the Secret Invasion line, which is kind of like a whole, or they seem to pick their arcs like that. Like they had the Civil War arc and they had the Infinity War arc, and now I think they're doing Secret Invasion.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I might tap out for these next ones, except for Guardians of the Galaxy, because for some stupid reason I'm excited about that coming out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to get a little bit of superhero fatigue. I did like the new Spider-Man. I thought that was pretty fun. Was it Far From Home? I thought that was pretty well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's
then
gotten a lot of reviews to that same key.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good button on what was happening with that whole, thing and the fallout of the death of Iron Man and all that stuff. So yeah, it was really well done, and I didn't dislike Jake Gyllenhaal, which I usually do. So there was that, and you end up disliking him, but for the right reasons, because it's scripted that you should dislike him.
I don't have much to say about him except that I've always thought he was very attractive. But I have seen him in hit and miss roles. Like, sometimes I'm like, yeah, he was spot on, and sometimes I'm like, meh. But I also feel that way about Mark Wahlberg, and he's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But once in a while, I'm like, that was a stinker, dude. Did you ever see The Gambler?
No, I didn't. There's
God.
a lot of his stuff that I don't bother to see.
It was bad. Yeah.
With his stuff, I'll look to see who is directing it, because... if he's in something like The Fighter, or he's in like like a David O. Russell movie, or if he's in a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, then I know that the movie is going to be good.
Yeah, as a shell.
Yeah. Or what else? I guess, I don't know. Those are my examples for what I like him in.
So... That makes me think of Brad Pitt and Leo together in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I know that you and I both saw that recently. What did you think about their dynamic?
I liked it.
Their little bromance with
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And I liked Leonardo DiCaprio on this, and he's somebody that I have only come to like in recent years. So
totally get that.
Yeah, I liked it. Overall, I think it's a movie I'm going to have to revisit. Because it wasn't what I was expecting going into it.
I am so glad I didn't see any trailers. And I'm going to try real hard not to do any spoilers now on this podcast. But it's set in a time that I'm particularly fascinated with.
Oh, sure.
And should I even say it? I didn't know there was going to be this motif that kind of follows the Manson family.
Yeah.
Didn't know that going in, and then once it appeared, I was like, oh, okay, now you've piqued my interest, and also, what is Tarantino going to do with this? And I was surprised.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting the outcome.
No. No.
That's as good as I can do. No spoilers, because there's so much I want to say. Actually, breaking apart the plot, because Chris and I saw it together, and at first we were like, 3 hours. And,
it didn't feel like a 3-hour film.
Well, we noticed that about 2 hours in, but then we also noticed about 2 hours in is when the action really starts to pick up.
Yeah.
So Tarantino spends this whole 2 hours developing Brad Pitt and Leo's characters, Rick Dalton, and then his stuntman Cliff.
Yeah,
played by Brad Pitt, and their friendship and their sort of interdependence or codependence.
There's a little bit of codependency there. Yeah.
And then Rick Dalton, Leo's character, is a really fascinating character, I think.
Yeah.
And like you said, I came to appreciate Leonardo DiCaprio in this role because he's way more nuanced than usual.
He has a lot to work with. I thought he did a really good job with it.
And also, do you think that's an interesting casting choice that he didn't put Brad Pitt in that role and vice?
No, I think that makes sense. I don't think I would have bought Leo in Brad's role
as the beefy stunt double.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that you know that Brad Pitt did grizzled pretty well.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like just enough
Actually,
of not
there was a rooftop shirtless scene, and I was like, "Are those scars real?" Because
I think they were put on. I think they were put on.
I was kind of wishing they were real. That'd be so cool. Oh well.
Yeah, I think that they were put on, but
good job, wardrobe and makeup.
Yeah. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think that again, it was not quite what I was expecting. I think I was expecting it to be a little darker and twisted than it wound up being.
I thought that the end was profoundly sad, but I have my own reasons for why I feel that way. And I said that to Chris when we were watching it together, and he was like, "Why?" And then we had to go do some research. And he ended up staying up all night last night, like,
oh yeah,
watching YouTube and reading, and like even watched a documentary on the Manson family. And then he was like, "Holy shit, I'm creeped out. I can't sleep." I'm like, yeah, it's all pretty damn creepy. There was something in the air that year, like 69. That's such a crazy year of upheaval in the country. 68 and 69.
Every time I think there are a couple of things that pop into my head when I hear, well, not just when I hear 69, but the year 69, the year people. No, is that there's that Homer Simpson line where he says, "For me, the 60s ended that day, December 31st, 1969.
Yeah, quite literally. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I was a little relieved that this movie isn't too packed with the Tarantino-isms.
Yeah.
Because he can really overdo that, like beat you in the face with his dialogue.
He can't. Well, and he's done it the last several films, I thought, which is why I was really expecting it to be more of that. So the fact that it wasn't, I think, threw me for the first little bit there.
I was relieved because I got sick of that in Inglourious Basterds and Django.
See, I love Inglourious Basterds.
Really?
Django was a little much. And then I haven't seen The Hateful Eight. So
I like The Hateful Eight because it's shorter. Yeah. And that's my principal complaint about so many movies lately.
Is they go on too long?
Yeah, they're too long. Edit them down. But this one, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like you said, 3 hours went by and we sort of were like, oh, well.
Yeah. Where did you see it? At least we were
engaged. We went to the AMC 24.
Okay.
Because I like to be uncomfortable. I don't like the loungy chairs. Also, it was $6.99, which isn't bad.
No, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Did you see a matinee?
No, it was 6 p.m., so it was a regular showing.
Interesting.
I haven't been to Film Bar all summer. Have you?
I've not. I had wanted to go see Wings of Desire because they were showing it there, but I think it conflicted with something else.
Really? Did I miss Midnight Cowboy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. Damn.
Mm-hmm. I did too. I was doing something else that night. Oh, it was I think that the night of Midnight Cowboy was Jake's 30th birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a good excuse.
Yeah, because I was planning to go and then had to say I couldn't because of that. So,
right.
But yeah, I mean, there's we went and saw it at the Alamo Draft House where they were doing the 35 millimeter print.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's fancy.
So it was pretty cool. I mean, it's just like, and I know, so if like film purists and audio purists will be like, you're not meant to, hear the pops and crackles or see the lines and everything like that. But that has always been the charm for me. I like texture. The warmth of, yeah. And I get that, I don't know.
That's why that one garbage video is so amazing.
Yeah.
Because they grabbed it and put it in the bathtub and ripped up all the, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was fun to see the, and that's Susie using the litter box. I don't think that comes through. No, she is. Yeah. Anyhow, so the other thing we went to see was the new Marc Maron film.
Oh, he was
Sort
just
of Trust.
He was just on Colbert.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And Kate Blanchett was too. Her new movie looks awful. Where'd you go, Bernadette? Ugh.
Yeah, it looks a little. That looks. It looks. For some reason, I thought that was Sandra Bullock, because that seems more like a Sandra Bullock movie than
should have been
Kate Blanchett movie. Yeah.
Whatever.
But Sort of Trust was really good. I thought that I got into a little bit of a conversation with somebody on Twitter about it, because I was saying that people should go see it, because it was just, I think it might already be gone. I don't know. It's just limited run at Shea 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to like films that may not necessarily, they don't have a lot at stake. They're not trying to do a whole lot. The story is almost secondary to the character evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's what this was. And it because the filmmaker Lynn Shelton, she's of that school of mostly like improvised stuff.
Wow.
So there's a sort of loose story that gets followed, but most of the dialogue itself is just the actors riffing off of each other.
Wow.
And so
I feel like we see that more lately for some reason.
Because the Duplass brothers do that. Joe Swanberg, Lynn Shelton. I mean, there's kind of I don't know about originator necessarily, but Christopher Guest has done it for a long time, and I think that there is just kind of this crop of filmmakers that maybe were influenced by that have brought it,
to
instead of and doing not necessarily comedies with it too. You think mostly of Christopher Guest as a comedic filmmaker for the most part, but
your motivation and roll with it. Did you see that movie last year that came out, The Florida Project?
I did not. That's the Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I think a lot of the dialogue I think was sort of loose like that. Anyway,
but yeah, I recommend it to people if they're interested. It's really, I think that and not even just saying this because I'm a fan, but because like I'm a fan, I think I'm more like looking for the holes in their performance.
Okay.
But Marc Maron's performance in it is pretty outstanding.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a good actor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was really surprised.
Being Marc Maron?
No. And this is probably the least Marc Maron that I've seen him.
Wow. Well, then that would be interesting in itself. When he was on Colbert, he was saying that he's past the 1,000th episode with his podcasts.
Oh, that's
WTF?
It's pretty crazy.
Do you think you've recorded 1,000 episodes, like total, with all your podcasts? No? How many LTD?
I just posted the 119th one.
Okay.
Today.
So not
or Monday.
Close.
So no,
so check
it's
again
probably
in 5 years.
and I keep taking these little breaks, and some things are every 2 weeks and some things are every week, but
how did he do that? 1,000? Has he been going for like 10 years?
He does, about 10 years, twice a week.
Whoa, okay. That math adds up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, when you post with that kind of regularity. I think Joe Rogan is there too with his.
Okay,
yeah.
Sure. That's what he does full time.
So hey, if I could do this full time, then I would have 1,000 episodes of something.
Sure.
I'm in at least the couple hundred range whether it's stuff I've recorded and, you know, like the Chatterbox thing,